Hello there everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Bo Talks Games, and today we are not talking about Nintendo. Today we're talking about Sony State of Play, because I streamed it, I reacted to it, I watched it with some friends, and overwhelmingly, the reaction I've seen online is negative. And I'm really, quite frankly, baffled by this. Normally, I come out of State of Plays and I'm like, oh, that was mid, there was like one thing I was interested in. But for this showcase, I came out of it and I'm like, wow. There's a lot of games coming. We got a lot of release dates for highly anticipated games, and yet still, you go to the little Jeff Keighley poll on Twitter, and the majority of people rated it like a D. Like, people think this is a really bad showcase. And I gotta be honest, I feel like a lot of hypocrites are revealing themselves. Every time there's a Game Awards, or a Sony showcase, or an Xbox showcase, people are always complaining, we want more new IP, we want more trailers with gameplay. That's exactly what this was. There's a lot of Souls-like action games, I get that. I personally don't even love those games very much, but I feel like when you actually list out all of the new information we got out of this State of Play, I don't know if I would say it's the best State of Play ever, right? There's been times where we got Resident Evil 4 and Street Fighter 6 announced, so those are obviously massive games, but in terms of like my expectations for what Sony showcases have become ever since the PS5 release, this delivered exactly what I wanted. Most of the games they showed here, I'm excited for, or at the very least, I'm excited to see the conversation about. Borderlands is not a game for me. I'm not going to play Borderlands 4, but like, we got a release date for it, and that's one of the biggest games of the year, and they announced a whole other presentation. So today we're talking about Sony State of Play. We're going to go through everything here, and just kind of talk about like, I feel like this is actually a pretty good showcase. This is one of the stronger PlayStation State of Plays that we've had in a while, and I'm actually excited for a lot of games coming to PS5 this year. Most of them also coming to PC and Xbox, right? There's no console war BS going on here. That's just a good year for games. So the State of Play had this weird like cold open where they showed the first free content update for Monster Hunter Wilds, a game I'm very excited to play. First free update coming in spring 2025. Mizutsune, new monster to fight, as well as an additional monster coming in the summer. Just a reminder that Monster Hunter Wilds is coming. I always feel like this is a week opening, right? This is a game coming out in a few weeks. People have already played an extensive amount of it. Reviewers already have the game. It's a little weird to open on something like that, but you know what? It was short, it was sweet, and even with it being a game we don't really need to see more of, there was still new content around it, right? They're still saying like, hey, here's the first free content updates, which is obviously a big deal for Monster Hunter diehards. Next up, we saw a nice bit of gameplay of the new Shinobi game from Sega, a game that's been MIA for over a year now. Shinobi Art of Vengeance, very excited for this. They're reviving Shinobi, has this beautiful kind of like hand-drawn art style from Lizard Cube, of course, Sega Publishing. They announced this at the Game Awards a long time ago, and we got a release date. It's coming out August 29, 2025. I don't know, did they announce if it's coming to Switch or not? I'm not actually sure, but this is one I'm very, very excited for. Looks absolutely fantastic, and we got to see more of it, and we have a release date, and it's sooner than I thought. I didn't think we would see this game for a little bit longer. Next up, we got the first gameplay of Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, another pretty big deal if you're a Nintendo fan. I'm not personally a Sonic fan, but this is one coming to Switch, obviously, and it's our first gameplay. There is a closed network test. Signups for that closed network test are coming on February 21st. This looks solid. I mean, I'm not like a huge Sonic Racing fan. I played the one on Wii U. I thought it was fine. I know a lot of people actually stand by that game and say it's like one of the best kart racers ever, one of the best racing games ever. Team Sonic Racing seemingly was a miss, but there's some cool stuff going on here. It has like that whole Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart portals you're going through. They have like the Sonic Riders stuff where you're like on like a hoverboard. That's pretty cool. Shadows and like a monster truck. So it's not a game I'll probably play, and I definitely wonder what Sega's thinking now that Mario Kart 9 is coming out this year. But I think this looks pretty solid, and once again, first time seeing gameplay of that. A new announcement from Bandai Namco. We got a new Digimon story game announced. Digimon Story Time Stranger announced, coming 2025. Once again, I have not played any of the Digimon games, but I feel like that's the issue with a lot of showcases like this. People say it was awful. You gotta look beyond your own little bubble of what you play. I will probably never play this Digimon game. There were so many people in my chat and even on Twitter where most of the negativity is brewing around this showcase, being like, oh yeah, we got a new Digimon game. That's awesome. I think the last Digimon story game was in like 2016, I want to say. It's been a while. So this is a pretty big-ish new announcement, I would say. Obviously, it's niche. It's Digimon, but it is a new game, and it's coming out this year. Very cool. Showed gameplay of that. Lost Soul aside, first time we've actually seen this in a State of Play. Normally, they just hide this on their YouTube channel, but this is a Sony published game coming out on May 30th. We have the release date for this now. Has a very Final Fantasy 15 inspired character design, as well as just art style and everything around it. Looks a lot better than I thought it did last time I saw it, to be honest, so definitely one I'm excited to check out. May 30th, PS5 and PC. We'll definitely be checking out that. And I think that is kind of the issue with the showcase for a lot of people. At least this is my assumption. There's a lot of action games and a lot of Souls-like action games at that. I get if that's not your thing, But I feel like you got to look at these games on like an objective level. And yeah, this looks like a good action game. And it's a new IP. That's another thing. People are always saying we need more new IPs. This presentation is full of new IPs. What are we doing, guys? Pirate Yakuza got a quick mention with a demo announcement coming this Friday. Very cool. If you're wanting to check out Pirate Yakuza a little bit before release, you can check out the demo for that. Ishiban from Yakuza is coming to Dave the Diver, so a Dave the Diver DLC pack was announced here. Splitgate 2, I love the first Splitgate. This is that free-to-play Halo clone, but it also has like portals from Portal in it. The alpha for this was announced for February 27th. Another thing that I'm actually pretty excited to check out that. Borderlands 4, once again, I'm not a Borderlands guy, but I do think this was the best trailer we've gotten for this, and it's coming out September 23rd. That's one major thing about this showcase that I actually really liked. 2025 has been kind of a barren landscape. Like, we know all these great games are coming, we just didn't know when. This State of Play really laid a nice roadmap throughout really the entire year of some pretty major stuff coming. So, yeah, Borderlands 4, September 23rd. We'll see what moves around when GTA 6 gets a release date. Split Fiction got a new trailer. I actually wish that had not been here. I've seen enough of that game. I don't really want to see any more of the gameplay gimmicks, but that's out March 6th. Obviously, nothing really new there other than just some new gameplay sections. Directive 8020, this is the next Dark Pictures game from Supermassive. Definitely the best looking game they've had since Until Dawn. I have not really liked any of the like Man of Medan or House of Ashes, I think it's called. Most of Supermassive stuff has been a miss in my opinion in the past couple of years. I know a lot of people like The Quarry, but Directive 8020 new trailer gameplay as well as that October 2nd release date, which is pretty cool. That's one I'll probably check out like on a sale or something. FNAF Secret of the Mimic out June 13th. I had never heard of this. I don't keep up with FNAF, but that release date is new. I suppose the game was already announced, but I couldn't find gameplay before this. So it was announced, but there really wasn't much on it, and now we have gameplay as well as a release date for that. The Midnight Walk got a release date for May 8th. This is a PS5 and PSVR 2 game. Looks absolutely incredible. This is from the developers of Lost in Random. That was like an EA original or whatever they were calling them back then. It was that game. Their new game, that team's new game, The Midnight Walk, has like this whole stop-motion claymation art style, very little nightmares-y, I would say, in terms of its art direction. But it looks very, very cool. Excited for this. Out May 8th. Definitely will be playing that in May. Darwin's Paradox. This one was weird. This is a new IP from Konami. This is like a very Xbox Live arcadey game from Konami. Yeah, Konami's publishing this. I don't know who the developer is. I'm not too familiar with it as a whole. I don't think it was announced beforehand, but I didn't know about it, so first time seeing it, I think it looks pretty cool. Like I said, it looks very much like a game I would have played on Xbox Live Arcade back in the day, where you play as this little octopus sneaking through all these different buildings and environments and stuff. It actually looks pretty cool. You can like shoot ink to like block a light and then like, you know, sneak under it, that kind of thing. I actually thought this looked pretty cool. Obviously not a high stakes game, but still cool to see Konami just doing weird stuff. Very, very excited for this. This came out today, got shadow dropped and announced today. Warriors Abyss. It's a roguelike Warriors game from Koei Tecmo, and it's out now. I'm going to be playing this tonight as soon as I get done making this video. What a good idea. You take the Warriors 1 versus 1000 gameplay and you make it a roguelike top-down angle like a Hades. This looks absolutely fantastic. Cannot wait to play this after I get finished up with making this video. And that's out today. That's a huge thing for me. I know it's like a smaller game. It's not like a mainline Warriors game. It's not a new Samurai Warriors game. It's not a new crossover thing. But it's cool to see Koei Tecmo doing something new with Warriors. But also, man, what a year they are having. You know, going into the year, it's like, okay, Ninja Gaiden Ragebound and Dynasty Warriors Origins, that's cool. We knew about those. Atelier Yumiya. But now we know about, well, Ninja Gaiden 2 Black got shadow dropped. Ninja Gaiden 4 got announced. And now we have this Warriors Abyss game. They're having a really good year. So I'm curious to see, you know, we had a shadow drop in the Xbox Game Showcase with Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. We had a shadow drop in the State of Play with Warriors Abyss. Will we get a shadow drop in the next Nintendo Direct from Koei Tecmo? Yeah, that's a really cool idea. I don't know how much it costs. If it's like $30, like that's, yeah, absolutely in for that. Onimusha 2 was just announced to be getting a remaster at the Capcom Spotlight. In that trailer, they said 2025, and I was like, oh no, it's going to be later in the year. No, we got a release date as well as gameplay here, May 23rd. Very excited for this. Need to play through all the Onimusha games leading up to the new one. And speaking of that new one, we actually saw Onimusha Way of the Sword. We got our first look at gameplay of what will likely be a GOTY contender for 2026. We didn't really see any gameplay in the reveal back at the Game Awards. So very happy that we got to see more of this. No release dates, but still just seeing more Onimusha is very exciting. And I think to me, that kind of indicates that game is probably like January next year, like an early 2026 release. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, this trailer leaked like a week ago, but that doesn't take away from the fact that we did get a new trailer and we got a release date of August 28th, as well as that new like Ape Escape monkey content. I guess that was in the original. I have not played MGS3, but yeah, that got a new trailer and a release date as well. I know a lot of people are very excited for that. Hell Is Us is a game that was announced, I'm going to say last year, maybe the year before, in a state of play, and when I saw it, I was like, oh, this looks interesting. It has like this very like Death Stranding atmosphere to it, very weird art style to it, or like enemy designs, environment designs. I wasn't that interested in it when we first saw it, but seeing it again, now that we have a release date too, September 4th, I was like, wow, this looks pretty cool. You have this like weird like kind of beam sword thing, but then you also have guns. You have this like weird drone following you. I'm going to wait and see what reviews are for it, but I think this showed pretty well. I'm excited for this, or at least excited to see what people think of it, and then I'll play it based on that. Something else people have been waiting almost 2 years now for is the Lies of P DLC. They said it was happening, and we just have never seen it. They never actually officially announced it. It was just like kind of talked about in like press releases and stuff. But Lies of P Overture was announced coming summer 2025. Looks great. Lies of P, obviously a very well-loved game. Dreams of Another was announced from Q Games. This is the team that makes the Pixel Junk series. Dylan Cuthbert, of course. This looks pretty cool. Very, very unique art style. I don't really know what to make of it, but I'm definitely going to check it out. This looks cool. I hope this is like a PS Plus game. Put this on PS Plus like day one. I will definitely play it that way. I know this one's a meme, but they did announce Days Gone Remastered for PS5. But even in this instance, when we're talking about the showcase as a whole, I thought they did it very tastefully. It was the way they announced Horizon Remake back in the September showcase, or Horizon Remastered, whatever they called it. They didn't really talk about it that long. They had the lady come out. They're like, yep, Days Gone Remastered, new content, $10 upgrade, coming to PC, PS5, April 25th. I think they did that pretty well. I don't think Days Gone needs a remaster, but you know what? Still cool. I actually haven't played Days Gone, so when I do eventually play this game, there is a PS5 version. But they didn't linger on it, right? Like, they didn't give this a 3-minute trailer. It was literally like 40 seconds at most of them just kind of running over the details of like a new game mode and stuff that they have added in there. So that's neat. Days Gone, one of the best-selling PS4 games. I'm sure there's a lot of people actually unironically excited for that. Some PS Plus game catalog updates. Nothing crazy here, I would say, until we get to the classics. But Top Spin is getting added. Star Wars Jedi Survivor, that's a recent-ish game getting added. And then most importantly from this, Lost Records, Rage, and Bloom, the new team from the Life is Strange devs, that is coming to PS Plus day one, which is a game I was kind of interested in, but I wasn't going to buy it probably until a price cut. Now I definitely will play it because it's included with my PS Plus subscription, as well as this game Blueprints. I was unfamiliar with this, but it seems like there's actually some decent buzz about it, as well as Abiotic Factor. This is like a survival multiplayer thing, not for me. I think this was a new announcement though, that's coming to PS Plus. But then those classics, some really cool announcements here. Patapon 3, this one leaked, but most importantly, Armored Core, Project Phantasma, Armored Core 1, and Armored Core Master of Arena, all announced for PS Plus classics. I don't believe these games have ever been re-released, so to see them come back is just really cool. I know they're old games, but listen, I know people are going to be like, oh, old game, but Armored Core, pretty sure it's never been re-released. Even if it was back on the PS3, so there's still no way to play them on modern consoles. We watch a Nintendo Direct, we see Pikmin 1 come over, and we're like, oh my god, we're losing our minds. They didn't do anything to Pikmin 1 on Switch. It's just running on Switch. So Armored Core, I'd say this is a pretty big announcement. I'm actually really excited to check these out, even though I'm sure they've aged maybe not that well. A couple more announcements here. This one was really cool. Not familiar with the team, but just based off what they showed me, very excited for this. It reminds me a lot of Claire Obscure at the Xbox Showcase last year, where I did not know anything about that team. They announced Claire Obscure Expedition 33, and I was like, whoa, this looks really, really cool. Almost too good to be true. This is another one of those like Souls-like action games, but Tides of Annihilation. This looks freaking awesome. You know, if we're talking about the Souls-like games that are always in these showcases, Black Myth, your Stellar Blade, your Wu Chang in the Xbox Showcase, Lies of P, like there's so many of these games. I think this looks like the best one. Like, I think this looks actually really, really good. The art direction here is incredible. Very Final Fantasy, very fantasy. Maybe that's why I like it. But the character design is cool. There's like some cool, like almost Nier Automata platforming sections in here. And then just really cool like enemy and environmental designs. So we didn't see a ton of it, but we did see gameplay. Tides of Annihilation, not a great name, but that's one that, once again, talking about new IP, people are always saying, oh, we don't see new IP. Oh, we don't see new gameplay in our reveal trailers. This is a new IP. Looks really good. Had gameplay in it. This is the exact kind of stuff I'm looking for out of these showcases. Metal Eden was announced. Not familiar with this. Me and my friends thought it was Marathon at first, which I guess is a good sign that we thought it was going to be a Bungie game, but not much to say on it. It looks cool. Cool art direction. I don't know if it's a PvP game, a single player thing. I'm not really sure. I need to do more research, but it looked fine. I probably won't end up playing it. Comes out May 6th, though, so probably not a new announcement. I just didn't know about it, but still looked neat enough. Mind's Eye. This is from the producer of all of the Grand Theft Auto games. That's crazy. This is coming out this summer. I don't think the trailer did anything to like really move me or make me that excited, but definitely a big deal. New IP from the director and producer of like the GTA games, man. That's a big deal. So that's pretty cool. And then they ended the show with a first party announcement. I see so many people being like, oh, we needed more first party. We needed more first party. Their publishing Lost Soul aside, but they also announced Soros from Housemarque. Returnal is my favorite PS5 game, or at least one of my favorite PS5 games. Returnal is an absolute underrated masterpiece. Genuinely, I mean that. One of the best games of 2021. And they announced their new IP that is a spiritual successor to Returnal called Soros, coming out in 2026. The only asterisk on this, and I understand why people are upset about it, there was no gameplay, but they tease enough in the reveal trailer where you see in his eye like the bullet hell circle coming. You know it's going to play like Returnal, just better. So I think a CGI teaser for this kind of worked for me. Yes, a gameplay always preferred, but when so many other games in the showcase had gameplay, I'm not like, oh man, I can't believe they didn't show this one, especially when it is a little further off. But still, it's good that the past several State of Play showcases have ended on a first-party game. Last summer, they ended on Astro Bot. In September, they ended on Ghost of Yotei. Obviously, Intergalactic was announced at the Game Awards, and now they're ending on a Housemarque game, Soros. A spiritual successor to one of the best PS5 games. I don't know, man. I'm just seeing so much negativity for this showcase, and I'm like, man, if that's considered a bad showcase, it's dire out here because there were so many good-looking games announced and also just shown more of. I guess that might also be part of the issue, right? People are always coming to these things for new announcements, and generally, I also do that. But when we literally knew, like, no release dates for 2025, like, I mean, there were a lot of release dates in here for games that we had no idea when they were coming. Just to have the year kind of mapped out, that alone makes it one of the better State of Plays, in my opinion. But also, then you do have stuff like Tides of Annihilation and Soros and Warriors Abyss. And we saw more gameplay of Shinobi. A new Digimon game was announced. Like, I actually think in terms of how State of Plays have been kind of mid overall throughout their life cycle since like 2020, whenever they started, the only thing that would have made it like the best for sure would have been like a Ghost of Yotei trailer and a release date. Maybe you see Death Stranding 2 again, although honestly, I don't really need to see more of that. We know it's coming. Ghost of Yotei release date would have been nice. But outside of that, the other content in here, I think beat for beat, one of the best State of Plays, if not the best State of Play. But yeah, I know this video is going to get disliked to oblivion. I know people hate positivity online. They don't like when people are happy about things. They feed off of negativity. But I just wanted to hop on here, even though I mostly cover Nintendo, and just talk about the State of Play, because everybody's poo-pooing it, and I'm like, man, there's a lot of games in there I'm excited for. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. How do you feel about this State of Play from Sony? I'd like to get a conversation going down there. Of course, subscribe here, not for PlayStation content, mostly for Nintendo content. But whenever there is a banger showcase like this, in my opinion, I will definitely cover it. And subscribe to my other channel, @itsamiibo. I will most likely have some Warriors Abyss coverage over there. Check out that. That'll be linked down below. Until next time, folks. Peace.